Evening, everyone. I'm Leslie Ellestad, one of the organizers of WTM, and I wanted to welcome all of you to our evening together. I am going to just take a moment. Oops, something happened. Just take a moment to. So many of you have probably attended our sessions before, but for those of you who are new, I'd like to tell you a little bit about WTM. It's Wellness Through Mindfulness, and we are an organization that started in around 2015 under the leadership of Dr. Phil Bluestein. We originally met at the Shaganappi Community Hall, and then when the pandemic started, we had a gap for several months, and then began to partner with the Calgary Public Library. And then in September, we had our final session with the Calgary Public Library, and now we're coordinating our meetings through our own website, the WTM website. And for now, we're going to be meeting on Zoom, and when things become even safer than they are now, we will start meeting again in person. So we do meet on the first and third Thursday of each month, and our goal is to provide free teachings about mindfulness and related topics. Our websites are www.thebreathproject.org, which is a general website about meditation. There's resources there with some interviews, video interviews of very well-known meditation teachers. And there's also our WTM, which is about this speakers series, WTM, And on there we have information about upcoming events. We have a place where you can sign up to get our newsletter. We have videos of previous talks, written summaries of some of the talks, mindful musings by Dr. Bluestein, and as I said, a resources section. So I also wanted to let you know about upcoming talks, the next two talks. On November 3rd, I'll be speaking about mindfulness of spaciousness. And on November 17th, Rabbi Rick Klein will be talking about finding peace through forgiveness, the Jewish way. And again, it's helpful if you sign up for a newsletter, because then you'll get notified about upcoming talks, and it'll help to remind you to sign up on the website. So following this evening's talk, we will have a Q&A section, but also Heather may be opening it up to questions during her talk. She has said that she prefers that you put your questions in the chat, and there is the possibility that she may ask for clarification if she feels it would be helpful for explaining her answer, so that she can make sure she understands your question. So if you do decide to go live with Heather in asking your question, then you have the option to keep your video off if you don't want to be on camera, but you can also put your camera on. But for during the talk, usually we do ask people to keep their camera off. So we do encourage you to put your questions in as they come up, because even though you may find that your question gets answered internally during the talk, it could be helpful to somebody else that the question occurred to you. We also want to remind you that we did put this on the slides before the talk begins, that we are an educational resource for you, and we hope that it's helpful for your personal well-being, but we are not able to address your personal issues in the Q&A section. We do encourage professional connections for personal resolution of personal issues. We would like you to ask questions that are related to the topic this evening, and also we are open to general questions about mindfulness, because most of our speakers are mindfulness practitioners. We do offer the talks freely. None of the speakers or organizers are paid, but we do have technical costs, which are quite significant to run the website, send out the email notices, And so we do ask that you consider the value of these talks to you and consider making a donation. Such like $5 would be much appreciated. And you can do that on the front page of the website, the WTM website. Yeah, the home page, I guess is the right word to use for that. And then I wanted to introduce our speaker and the topic for this evening. So our speaker this evening is Heather Good. She is a master's trained social worker, a certified hypnotherapist. She's written a book, she's a published author, and she's a yoga therapist. She offers holistic therapy for complex physical and emotional mental health difficulties. She specializes in hypnotherapy and has done so for 10 years. And she's registered as an applied shamanic counselor and hypnotherapist in what's called depth hypnosis. And this method was developed by Dr. Isa Gucciardi of the Foundation of the Sacred Stream. And as Heather is going to be speaking on the topic of tools and tips for a restful sleep. So welcome, Heather, and I'm looking forward to your talk.
Thanks so much, Leslie, and so nice to see so many familiar names and faces here tonight. Thank you so much for coming. And Leslie did note that you can keep the camera off, but for those of you that know me well, know I'm a people person, so I love to see your faces. So if you're comfortable turning your camera on to say hi, feel free to, but don't feel obligated. It's more if you'd like to have it on, then that would be great to say hello. So you can do that at your own discretion. I will be asking for some participation in the chat tonight for the workshop so that you can get the most out of it, so that everybody can. And so feel free to write comments in the chat, and either I or Leslie will be reading them or answering them. So just a little bit more, Leslie gave the highlights on my work in the area of social work and counseling, hypnosis, and yoga therapy, and that's been a passion of mine for pretty much the duration of my career working in counseling and hypnosis. And I've found that these practices of yoga therapy, meditation, qigong have been invaluable for me in my in dealing with numerous health issues that I have been challenged with over the years, including concussion and anxiety. So in particular, meditation and qigong have been two of the highlights of what's helped me in addition to the hypnotherapy. So I'm excited to share this topic because I know that so many people struggle with sleep issues and it's complex. And so we'll just be touching in on sleep, but what you will be given to take away is I'll call it a sleep induction or a sleep hypnosis. And what that means is that it will be a guided practice where I'll guide you through this practice, and you can use it when you go to sleep at night or if you wake up in the middle of the night. So after the class is done, you can either send me a note and I'm going to send that to you, or you can access the full recording on the Wellness Through Mindfulness site. So that being said, I think I'll just start to share my slideshow so that you can just see a little bit about what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'll do that now. Okay. So I wanted you to know that the class today doesn't take the place of medical advice, but it's just designed to provide you some tools for relief. It doesn't replace mental health support or a full medical assessment. So I'm encouraging those participating today, if you're struggling with health or mood or sleep, to see your physician or your natural health practitioner or your counselor and therapist to get some advice, to get some support. And one of my passions, as you have kind of learned, is about the role of hypnosis. And so I'm going to be speaking in the workshop today just about some aspects of how hypnosis can be helpful and some other tips and tools. So a few kind of highlights and housekeeping notes that I wanted to say here is that if you can keep your focus on the presentation, then that's a great start to mindfulness. So I'll just say session guidelines. So trying not to be eating or dancing or moving around your living room or, engaging in other side conversations, to really try and keep your presence here in the moment with us. And if you have a question, jot it down in the chat, and then we'll attend to those questions as we're able. And there will be some points where I say, if you'd like to write in your questions now, then please do that. So these are the highlights we'll be covering today. A little bit about sleep, your sleep challenges, a yogic breathing practice for relaxation, actually a couple of them, a little bit about hypnosis, guiding you through a suggestion hypnosis, which will be given, you can have access to after, and a little bit about self-hypnosis and other tips for a restful sleep, which are given to me by a naturopathic doctor friend of mine. Dr. Marnie Watchler has added in some tips for restful sleep. So I think that those are the highlights. And a little about sleep challenges. So often people struggle with either falling asleep or staying asleep. And so are you awake for hours each night, or is one or the other difficult for you? So I'll get you just to hold off writing that in the chat, but that is something that sometimes people say that they struggle with. So I'm going to come back to this slide in a moment, but we're going to do just a short breathing practice to arrive, to shift yourself from what you have been doing to where you're at right now. And yeah, just to take a second and just be here in this moment. So for those of you that are new to meditation and mindfulness, I'll give a little briefing, let's just say. So for meditation, you want to sit with an upright spine. So sitting tall. If you need to have something behind you supporting your back, a cushion or something like this, or you need to even sit back in your chair a little bit, you can do that. So take a moment and find yourself in a comfortable seated posture. So feet flat on the ground or sitting cross-legged, perhaps your hands resting down in your lap, or one hand on top of the other, thumbs touching. Spine is elongated, crown of the head reaches up towards the sky. Okay, great. I'm just taking a moment now. Eyes can stay open or they can be gently closed. You decide what feels best for you and your body. Or eyes can be just a little bit open. That's another option for meditation. And as you find yourself in this relaxed position, just focusing on your breath now. For this brief breathing meditation that we'll do now to arrive. Allowing yourself to get comfortable. Noticing all the places where the surface under you meets the different parts of your body. And noticing where your breath goes as you breathe in and where your breath goes as you breathe out. And noticing how your breath is almost like a bridge between your outer world and your inner world. With each breath, drawing more and more closely into your inner world. Connecting into this deep place within yourself, where everything that you've ever known, felt, sensed, or imagined is recorded deep, deep down. And as you continue to relax, drifting down, feeling relaxed and at peace. And as you do, focusing on your breath. You may focus on the breath as you breathe in and out, the sensation of the breath on the nostrils. Or you may focus on the rise and fall of your chest or your belly. It's focusing on whatever aspect of the breath resonates with you. And should the mind wander, all you'll do is redirect your breath back, your focus back to your breath. The mind may wander away again and again, and all you're doing is bringing it back to the focus, either on your nostrils or on the rise and fall of your chest or your belly. Staying attentive yet relaxed. Just staying with this focus just for a minute or two more. Training the mind to stay focused on the breath. Feeling the spaciousness that gets created as you continue to focus on your breath. Tapping into this deep inner sense of peace as you feel the surface underneath you when you're connected to your breath. Good. And now as you continue to feel the surface underneath you, you can slowly and gently bring your focus back into the room, back into this present moment. Back here now, gently moving your body in whatever way feels good for you as you mindfully bring your attention, your focus back into this present space in the room. When you're ready, gently opening your eyes and coming back. It's noticing how you may feel slightly different now than when you started just a few minutes ago. Okay. Good. All right, so carrying on now that we've done this short breathing practice, a little bit about sleep challenges now. So many people struggle to get a good night's sleep. So mid-evening awakening and having difficulty falling asleep are just common struggles for so many people. So when sleep problems are prolonged, they can have a serious impact on a person's health. So whether the sleep problem is induced by stress, an overactive mind, hormonal imbalance, or a health crisis, there are many strategies that can help when you're not getting enough rest. And sleep problems can be compounded by stress. Stress and trauma can be a significant problem for people and can wreak havoc on one's life. So good sleep hygiene, along with the tools of hypnosis, mindfulness, and yoga therapy can all help to set the stage for a good night's sleep. So some notes here on sleep challenges. The normal process of falling asleep begins with a sleep stage called non-rapid eye movement. Now this is on the slide that's in front of you. And during this stage, your brain waves slow down. After an hour or two of the non-REM sleep, your brain activity picks up and then moves on to rapid eye movement sleep. So you go through the cycle multiple times a night. but sleep disorders can disturb this process. And listed here are a number of sleep disorders, including sleep apnea, periodic limb movement disorder, narcolepsy, something called REM sleep behavior disorder, unusual behaviors during sleep, and unexplained chronic insomnia. So if you can take a moment, just so I know, who's in the room, you can just say your name, where you're writing from, and what challenge do you have in particular related to sleep? And you don't have to write in the chat, but if you would like to, let me know what your challenge is, then we can just kind of know, what are some of the experiences that you're having that are difficult, and I'll just read those if that's okay. Nice to see people, names and folks that are saying hi back. Sometimes falling asleep and staying asleep, waking up after a cycle and you can't fall back to sleep. Consistent evening routine helps. Sometimes breathing, nose getting blocked, yes. Having trouble going to sleep at a healthy time to get a full night's sleep, yeah. Unexplained chronic insomnia, so hard, yeah. Falling and staying asleep, both challenges. Yes, all of the above. Waking up at 2 or 3 and not able to get back to sleep. Yeah. Waking up every night around 3 o'clock. Yeah. Okay. And waking in the middle of the night, having trouble falling back to sleep. Nice to see you. Thank you. Hi, Carol. Sleep apnea, yes. Okay. Having trouble staying asleep. More sleep apnea. Struggling to fall asleep. Hi, Shaz. Falling asleep easily, but waking up about 3 or 3:30. Waking early. Hi, Janice. Okay. Christina, falling asleep's okay, but waking up after a couple hours, not falling back to sleep. Waking early in the morning. Hi, Nora. Great. Okay, 2 or 3 in the morning. Waking up with anxiety. Yeah, it's so hard. So restless leg syndrome for some. Chronic insomnia. Yeah. Hi, Michelle. Yeah. Waking just as you fall to sleep over and over. Oh, so hard when these things happen. Okay, waking up almost every night between 3:30 and 4. Hi, Doug. Yeah. Sometimes get back to sleep, but sometimes not. Mind starts buzzing. Okay. Falling asleep, turning off the mind. So lots of repetitive challenges. Hi, Lorraine. Nice to see you. Kim, trouble falling and staying asleep. Rick, waking up every 2 to 3 hours before your alarm and take a long time, 60 to 90 minutes to get back to sleep. Mind busy and worrying. Usually sleeping quite well, sometimes waking. If someone else, your husband's making a noise, yeah, so tricky. Okay, thank you everyone. Really, lots of challenges out here. Yeah, and lots of what others are saying. Yes, absolutely. So we'll try and make some movement forward with some of these challenges. And if you're finding that what we're doing tonight is not it's not kind of cutting it, it's not kind of meeting your needs, I'm going to put a link here in the chat for you. You can send me a note. This will also give you access to the recording. You can let me know if you need more information. And I've also made some room in my schedule for the next couple of weeks to offer individual support or potentially some group follow-up support if there's people interested in that, to try and help you move past what we do today. And a special offer for those here today of a discount of half off my session rate. So you can write that link there, copy that, or just send me a note at, I'll put the email too, because I know sometimes you can't access chat. So my email is info@heathergood.ca. So you can send me a note too. That's easier. Okay, so we'll carry on now, moving forward with some tips and tricks and strategies. Okay, so hypnosis and the research, just really briefly. There was in 2018, some researchers put together, comprised 20 different research papers on hypnosis for sleep, and found that more than half of people in the studies, 58%, that found that hypnosis does benefit sleep, and it can help with insomnia as well as a whole range of other health concerns. And another study of 36 women aged 32 found that just 2 hypnosis sessions helped them with, sorry, a study of 36 women aged 32 found that with 2 hypnosis sessions, that 43% of them were able to stay symptom-free from sleep disturbance after a 5-year follow-up. So some really positive and great results from hypnosis for sleep. So what we know a little bit about stress, this is taken from some of the therapy work I do with folks, is called the window of tolerance. So in meditation and hypnosis, we train our minds to focus and stay in the present, in the window of tolerance, where we can be calm and clear. When we're outside of the window of tolerance, so we can get anxious, which is hyper aroused. We can use mindfulness, grounding, breathwork, hypnosis to go back into the window of tolerance. Or we can be hypoaroused, which is the bottom arrow here, which means depressed, lethargic, numb, or unmotivated. Both are outside of the window of tolerance, and there's tools to go back in the window of tolerance. So that's where we want to be, and it's really normal, especially in the times we've been through with the pandemic and the stress and the news and so many things that are going on for people, to have a really hard time staying in the window of tolerance. But the tools of hypnosis, therapy, and yoga can be very helpful for getting back into the window of tolerance when we go out of the window of tolerance. I should have mentioned earlier, I'm also happy to send my slides around so you don't have to furiously take notes. I can send those around if you also just send me a note or click on the link I've just put in the chat. Happy to send that as well. And it will be also listed on the Wellness Through Mindfulness site as well. So now for a few other practices that I'm going to teach you before we go into the guided hypnosis induction. So a little bit from my work as a yoga teacher and yoga therapist. And I have, with my work as a yoga therapist, taught specifically for mental health in hospital settings with youth in treatment for mental health. So my specialty really is learning and using techniques for getting into the window of tolerance when you're outside of. So one of the tips is to sleep on your right side. So it might be take some retraining of yourself when you're in bed to remember, am I on my right side? Because when you're on your right side, the left nostril is staying open, and the left nostril is connected with what's called the parasympathetic nervous system and the relaxation response. So as a way of trying to help you remember to do this, to lie on your right side, what you'll do, and not just lie on your right side when you're sleeping, but lie on your right side and cover your right nostril, and then breathing long and slow through the left. So sitting up, I'll take you through a short practice now so you have an experience of what this feels like. So just like when we started our mindfulness practice today, sitting tall, take your right thumb, cover your right nostril, the other fingers point straight up. Okay, and then holding the right finger on your right nostril, breathing long, slow, and deep in and out just through the left nostril. Long, soft, smooth breath in, long, soft, smooth breath out through the left nostril, keeping the right closed. Make sure your arm, your shoulder are resting and relaxed, that they're not working too hard, but that you're staying in an upright posture. I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes, and we're going to do this breathing practice for 2 minutes. Your eyes can be closed, or they can be closed and focused on the brow point. Long, soft, gentle breath. Mouth is closed, just breathing in and out just through the nose. And ensuring the breath is gentle and soft and smooth. Making sure your arms relax, your shoulders relaxed. Another 30 seconds or so. You can also add in some words to keep the mind focused. You can breathe in calm, breathe out peace, breathe in relaxation, breathe out stress. Any 2 words that you'd like to add into this breathing practice. Good. Good. And inhale deeply now through the left nostril. Suspend your breath. Exhale, release your hand down, breathe out and relax. Letting the hand release and just noticing the effect of that practice. You can do that practice anytime. So what you're doing when you're lying in bed is you're sleeping on your right side, you're plugging your right nostril. You're doing that same breathing practice when you're lying in bed, breathing just in and out through the left nostril only. Okay. Next practice, a breathing practice to start now, is to relax your body. Long, gentle, soft breath in, and then breathing out with a sigh. You can do it with me. Doing that 5 or 6 more times. One more time. Good, and then just noticing the effect. As you notice the effect, you're working the muscle of mindfulness. You're bringing to your awareness what's helping, the effect of your practice. Great, and now hands on your belly. Smooth, gentle breathing. Just that act of having your hands gently resting on your belly, focusing on your belly as it moves in and out. Also a very simple practice that can alleviate anxiety and stress and can bring you back into the moment. Okay. Other practices to help. Good sleep hygiene, that will be going to sleep at a regular hour, avoiding caffeine, alcohol, eating heavy meal 3 or 4 hours before sleep, reducing stress, having more mindful moments, relaxing your body, hypnosis, yoga, yoga therapy, yoga nidra, and qigong. Now, the power of suggestion. So this is where we're going to move into the hypnosis practice. But before I do that, I just wanted to find out up to this point if you have any questions that you'd like to ask at this point. You can also wait to the end of the presentation. That will give us more time for this, the suggestion hypnosis. But if you have a burning question that you feel like you need to answer right now, then just put that in the chat and I can answer. Ah, great. Thanks, Janice. Using Ray glasses on technology can help for sure. What would be a good example of good sleep hygiene? You know what? I'm going to go into the note on sleep hygiene at the end. So I'm going to write myself a little note to revisit that. If you can't sleep on your right side due to injury, surgery, it's difficult if you can't do that. If you're really experiencing some insomnia, you can sit up, do that breathing practice, get yourself more relaxed, and then go back down or practice the hypnosis that we'll do. Okay, but we'll revisit that question about good sleep hygiene shortly. So great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Myrna. Okay, so now what I'd like you to do is, again, a little opportunity for you to write something into the chat. I would like to know if you think about yourself resting deeply, that you've had a very good rest, or your body is just feeling very at peace and relaxed. What words come to mind? And these words, some of the words that you're using right now, I will use in the hypnosis induction for you. So for example, people like to hear the word, your body feels really heavy. Yes, Kim, melt. So this is exactly what I like. If people, will probably only be able to use like several, but heavy, floating. Yes, perfect. Yes, safe, soft, wonderful, joyful. Okay, nice. Great. At peace. Yes, Kay. Thank you. Feeling safe. Yes. Calming. Great. Thanks, Lorraine. Okay. Michelle, safe. Ease. Yes, Carol. Great. Contented. Perfect. Leslie, thank you. Good. I think we've got a really good list there. Okay. I'm going to use as many of those as I can in our induction. Okay. So let me just see if there's anything else that I want to say before we move into that. Anything I've missed? Yeah, I guess just a couple comments that we all come into the world with certain ways of thinking and acting, and we can change how we think and how we act and how we react to others, but it takes conscious effort. And this is why I love hypnosis, in that it bypasses the conscious mind and helps us to undo patterns that we were, one more word there, thank you. Helps us to undo patterns, long-standing patterns that we've had. So this is why hypnosis can be super helpful for shifting things that have otherwise been very difficult to shift. So if you find that today's induction, you're needing something a little bit more, then please reach out. I'm a passion of mine to do this work with people to help shift. So I'd really love to hear from you. So during this process now, so as we begin the induction now, finding yourself in a comfortable seated posture. And if you prefer to lie down, or if you're lying down as you prepare for sleep, then getting in that position now, that position that's comfortable for you. Taking a moment to settle in and settle down. And as you start to become comfortable and relaxed here, taking a few gentle breaths. Just finding yourself getting comfortable and noticing all the places where the surface under you meets the different parts of your body. Connecting with your breath. Finding a gentle, relaxed, easy breath. Notice all the places where the surface under you meets the different parts of your body. Notice where your breath goes as you breathe in and where your breath goes as you breathe out. And notice how your breath is almost like a bridge between your outer world and your inner world. With each breath, simply noticing how you draw more and more closely into your inner world. As we journey down into this place to connect with the part of you that can sleep soundly and sleep deeply. Relaxing through every fiber of your being. Relaxing physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Feeling this deep sense of relaxation. Feeling the surface underneath you. Drawing more and more deeply down into your inner world, where sleep comes easily, where you can experience deep rest, deep ease, letting go and resting deeply. Feeling your body melt and relax as you become more and more peaceful, more and more at ease. Feeling your body become heavier and heavier as it melts into the surface under you. And as you settle in and settle down, knowing that it's safe to rest deeply, that you can experience this deep sense of peace and calm. With each breath, allowing yourself to sink in deeper and deeper relaxed, deeper and deeper at peace. And as you relax so completely in this fashion, listening to each word that I say, you let each suggestion take complete and thorough effect to help you to feel a sense of heaviness, warmth, and contentment. To help you feel safe and at ease, knowing that should you even wake up for any reason, you can remind yourself that you're safe. Connecting to the sense of heaviness and melting, to feel a sense of warmth, peace, and contentment. And it will happen deeply and automatically on both the conscious and subconscious levels of mind. As you drift off to sleep, you're able to settle joyfully and easily into this warm, safe space. Settling into bed for deep, restful sleep. knowing that when it's time to wake up in the morning, when it's time to get up, that you'll feel refreshed and awake. But now, as you rest deeply, you relax, releasing any worries, any concerns that may be in your mind. Your mind rests casually and comfortably, settling deeply into this deep, restful sleep, knowing that all worries can be released and you are able to relax more and more and more, building this deep sense of inner peace that comes with this deep, restful sleep that you've experienced with ease. Like a warm blanket that's wrapped around you. You're feeling the heaviness of your body. And just drifting down now, deeper and deeper relaxed. You realize that as you're more relaxed, you're capable of greater ease, greater joy and peace. And as you relax more deeply, you feel this self-acceptance and peace grow within you, knowing that you can easily go back to sleep should you wake up by connecting to your breath and reminding yourself that you're safe, that you can be relaxed. And so in this process of cycle that grows and deepens, reinforces itself every day as your sleep deepens and deepens each night. So you wake up rested in the morning, but at night you're able to settle in deeply for a good restful sleep. With each number I count, make your connection with this part of yourself that's connected to deep, restful sleep, deeper, stronger, and wider. 1, you're feeling this heaviness very deeply. 2, knowing that you're safe and that you can relax. 3, feeling that sense of melting and heaviness, knowing that you can access this state easily when you go to sleep. And 3, 4, knowing that if it's time to go to rest, by the time I count to 10, you'll be able to go deep into a state of deep, deep sleep. 5, 6, feeling going deeper and deeper. 7, 8, completely restful, completely at ease. 9, feeling so restful and so at ease that it's easy and effortless to go to sleep, knowing you'll be able to sleep soundly in this safe, joyful, peaceful state. Knowing that when it's time to wake up, you'll be able to wake up easily and effortlessly. But for now, allowing yourself this deep, restful sleep. And now, knowing this is the end of the induction process, we will end the recording now. Coming back into the room now. Good, feeling this connection with this part of yourself very deeply as you start to come back. 2, building your self-confidence and self-esteem that you can use this hypnosis induction to help you have a deep, restful sleep. 3, beginning to start to return to the room, finding the support underneath you. 4, 5, moving closer to the surface now. 6, feeling the support underneath you, starting to move your body and shift in any way. 8, coming back to the 7, 8, coming back to the surface. 9, taking all the time you need, coming back into the room. 10, whenever you're ready, opening your eyes, knowing you'll be able to remember everything, feeling alert, awake, but yet also rested, so that after the practice for tonight, you'll also still be in this deep state of rest and ready to go into the evening, whatever that might hold for you. And coming back into the room now. Okay, so welcome back, everyone. I hope you're back. I noticed maybe a few comments or questions. If you want to put your question in the chat, that would be great. Welcome questions in the chat for now. How was that experience, or any specific questions that you'd like to ask in the chat? Okay, yeah. Good night, Michelle. Thank you. Thanks for coming. I have some friends here from Ontario, so it is their bedtime, so sweet dreams. Feeling a sense of warmth and connected. Great, thank you. Okay. Okay, so welcome back. So just a couple more things before we'll carry on here. Okay, so just a few comments here around self-hypnosis. You can use the recording here for self-hypnosis. You can use deep relaxation and visualization. This is once more where I was talking about doing something perhaps specialized for you individually. And for those of you who hopped on late, I put the link for my, in order to get the hypnosis induction directly from me, the handouts, to be in my mailing list for future offerings. I do have some live workshops coming up, and also to get a discount, which I'm offering a discount of half off for anyone who signs up in the next few weeks for a private session, which I'm really happy to offer you. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me, and there's the link again to reach out to me for that information, or for information on the workshop and whatnot, because I can do some individual work if this doesn't meet your full needs. And so then one more thing that I wanted to note for you in this, from my friend, as I mentioned at the beginning, Marnie Watchler is a naturopathic doctor. So this connects to the question related to sleep hygiene. So naturopathic suggestions for a deep sleep: reducing stress, setting a sleep schedule, waking and sleeping at the same time. And again, I can send you these notes so you don't have to type rapidly or write notes. Don't force yourself to fall asleep or stay asleep. So you can read a boring book if you can't fall asleep, but don't turn on your device, phone or tablet. Avoid coffee, alcohol, or nicotine. Keep daytime napping to less than 1 hour. Avoid vigorous exercise and big meals 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. These are some of the specific suggestions by Dr. Marnie, were melatonin, valerian, or chamomile to help with sleep. As I mentioned earlier, sleeping on your right side and practicing visualization. And Marnie's email is here at the bottom. drmarnie.ca is happy to do sleep consultation for you if you need some specific suggestions for sleep. She was one of my first naturopathic doctors here in Calgary, and it's very helpful in many ways for sleep. So how are we at with time here? a few minutes left, but I'll leave this on just for a minute so you can make sure you've got that. Anything you wanted from that slide. Those supplements were melatonin, valerian, and chamomile. And there often is supplements or teas that could help. And that is, in a nutshell, I think everything I wanted to say today. So, yes, so thank you everyone for your participation. Over 50 of you here tonight. It's so awesome. I'm so happy to have so many familiar faces and new faces as well. I've so appreciated your participation and feedback and whatnot. So now I think we'll open it up to any comments or questions, or if you wanted to say anything in the chat about your experience of that hypnosis, feel free. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'll ask Leslie. Is there anything else, Leslie? I'm going to stop my sharing and then end the screen there.
Hi, Heather. Thank you very much. So I'm just looking at the questions here. Were we supposed to fall asleep and come back was one question.
Okay, why don't I answer them as you asked me? Okay, yes, for the sake of today, because I didn't know if people were heading off to bed or if they had things to do. So the induction ends with you still being in bed and asleep. That's the induction, is for you to use if you wake up at night or before you go to bed. You could just keep, you will just drift off into sleep. So I apologize if it's a little bit confusing. So that's where the induction ended. And then I brought you back so that you would be awake here now for the ending of the class. Does that answer that question?
I think that's what they were getting at.
Okay, okay.
My cats sleep with me, which is comforting, but also has a negative impact on my sleep. Any thoughts?
Well, I can appreciate that it's comforting to have your cat with you. I think it's probably just looking at how much of a disruption is it for you. Yeah.
Okay. I have acid reflux and it stops me from going to sleep. I could answer that one, being a physician.
Oh, go for it, Leslie. Thank you. Yes, please do.
So elevating the head of your bed. You can put blocks under the head of your bed so that gravity is working in your favor. 6-inch blocks are supposed to work. You can also get something from one of the pharmacies that has health products that you can put a wedge under your mattress and lift your whole top of your mattress up with the wedge. And then not eating too close to bedtime. And you could use things like Gaviscon before you go to bed, which is an antacid that floats on the surface of the acid in your stomach. And of course, we have Phil Bluestein, who's a gastroenterologist, if he wants to add anything more. Of course, there's medications that are used for acid reflux.
Yeah, Phil, do you want to add anything? Thank you, Leslie. So great to have you guys complement this workshop.
No, I think that Leslie very nicely addressed the issue of reflux. I mean, not eating before you go to bed can be very helpful. And there are a lot of very effective medicines out there for reflux. If your predominant reflux is at bedtime, then taking your, quote, once a day medicine is better taken in the evening rather than in the morning. So it's most effective at the time you're getting your reflux.
Okay. So the next question for you, Heather, is what is the difference between hypnosis and meditation?
Yeah, great question. So as far as like meditation, or we might call it yoga nidra, deep meditation, in our normal waking consciousness, we have a certain brainwaves that are active, and when we go into this deeper state of hypnosis or meditation, I believe it's the alpha and the theta brainwaves that are activated in both of those. So with hypnosis, particularly when I'm doing an induction like this or individual one-on-one, it's it's helping you dip down into the brain waves that are accessed. So the brainwaves are, I believe, like slower. I'm not a scientist, so this is not my exact forte, but trying to dip down into the deeper mind and the unconscious and helps us to access what could potentially be an issue that you're not aware of in your conscious mind. So, for example, I think in the earlier, someone was saying that you can have a lot going through your mind, or you might have a stress about one thing or another. So, what hypnosis can do can help you to go back and actually look at where does that pattern originate and clear the foundations of that pattern, whether it's in your early upbringing or something you were taught from a very young age. So much of our early beliefs from the age of birth up to the age of 18 or even 15 are so formative for us around patterns and habits that it does require us to dip down into a deeper state of consciousness to change and shift long-standing patterns. So that kind of answer the question, but so very similar, but just kind of a deepening even of that consciousness, which can be still accessed in very deep forms of meditation too.
Okay. And then somebody says, I've found the practice of Qigong has really helped me this year. And it sounds as though you know something about Qigong as well, Heather.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
want
no,
to comment on that?
I'm very happy to share about that. Yeah, I have done some teacher training in Qigong. Not teaching that too much currently right now, but Qigong was really very helpful for me in recovering from a few concussions that I've had. That as well as the hypnosis and some other things like biofeedback and naturopathic medicine. But the Qigong, for those that are not familiar with Qigong, Qi is energy or prana or movement, and Gong means to practice. So the Qigong is a process of visualization and visualization and breath practice, and sometimes movement of the body. So we may do a practice where we're visualizing breathing in and visualizing breathing out. So that process of Qigong can be an active process where we're using our mind and our breath, or it can be a physical practice where we're using our hands to. One common practice in Qigong is called hugging the tree. So we're standing or we're sitting and our arms are like as if we're hugging a tree, and we're really connecting heaven and earth. So the grounding of our feet into the earth and the head into the sky. So really good about for maybe people who have a harder time doing seated meditation or got a distractible mind. I have quite a distractible mind at times. And so the Qigong has been helpful as far as an active meditation. So others out there loving Qigong. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Okay, and then we have a couple of thoughts about the nostrils.
Yes.
A couple of people have said that they were taught to breathe or to lie on their left side for their digestion. And so that would, be a different piece of advice than
Right.
for parasympathetic relaxation. So that's just a comment
Yeah.
from a couple of people.
Okay.
And then we have, I practice alternate nostril breathing as part of my yoga practice. I find that it quiets my mind. So that's again a different kind of breathing, if you want to
Yeah, and
comment on that.
the opposite nostril breathing super common in many types of yoga, and it's very good for balancing the hemispheres, the right and the left, the sympathetic and parasympathetic side. So it's a great practice to do too, for sure.
Okay, and then there's a nice thank you here for your presentation.
Thanks.
And then can you say more about yoga therapy versus yoga?
Yeah, I guess comment from my own experience of yoga therapy in particular. And with what I focus on with yoga therapy is primarily for mental health, but yoga therapy has a huge there's so many benefits to yoga for so many things, like I could say. I have a friend in Red Deer, Shelley Prasco. She teaches pain, care aware yoga, and she's a physiotherapist. And she was trained by a fellow in BC. I think his company might be called Pain Care Aware. His first name's Neil, and now I can't remember his last name. But it's been shown to help with so many things. You've probably heard of pelvic floor physio. That's like a form of yoga therapy for general overall well-being. But my specialty is yoga, breathing practices in particular for mental health.
Okay. And then the rest are mainly thank yous. And
Nice.
I have a question for you, if you're okay
Sure.
with that.
Of course.
And continue other people, just to say to others that if a question pops up, continue to ask. We have more time available.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so my question is, what about sleep and trauma? What is the connection between sleep disturbance and a history of significant trauma?
Yeah, well, I would say there's probably a very big connection between sleep disturbance and trauma. Leslie, I haven't looked at the research on that or the connection on that, but I think um, yeah, trauma has such a significant impact on so many aspects of life, including sleep. And hypnosis can be very helpful for working with trauma. There's lots of, um, you know, um, trauma-informed yoga, and there's lots of practices these days out there to deal with trauma specifically. But I found very good effect using the depth hypnosis that I use in particular for trauma because it does go back to clear the helps to clear the pattern or the reaction to the trauma, um, and just helps to reset the nervous system, which when we have a more calm nervous system, when we're in our window of tolerance throughout the day, then we probably can have better sleep at night and not be so activated. So I think that may be reflective of, of sleep disturbance. Uh, do you have any questions or do you have any comments on that perspective, Leslie?
No, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to speak
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
And now Willie has his hand up. I don't know if he has asked his questions through the chat, but
Oh, I think
can I invite him
Willie,
to
and
unmute?
I think Willie's she. Willie is.
Willie is a
I
she?
think I know Willie. So Willie, do you have a question? Did you want to unmute and share, or was your hand just up by accident? I notice it's been up for a little bit too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just assume it's by accident.
Okay. It's like when you leave your signal light on.
Yeah, maybe.
What is the reference for window of tolerance?
Oh, good point. I'm trying to remember who created the window of tolerance. Do I have any therapist friends in the room that can remind me? Was it Dan Siegel? Did he create the window of tolerance? I can't remember. Charmaine, you remember?
I know I was thinking more like Judith Herman or Bessel van der Kolk, like older than Dan Siegel, but yeah,
Okay.
it's just kind of a thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks, Charmaine. I'm going to have to find the reference. I'm sorry, I don't have it.
Okay. So I'm just waiting to see if we get any more questions.
Yeah.
Everyone is welcome. Or if you have anything else you wanted to comment on, just on your own, that's something that's popped up, Heather, that you'd like to
No, just
share.
like, do you have space for some questions?
Willie said it was an accident,
Oh, okay.
having her hand up.
Okay, nice to have you here, Willie. Thanks so much.
There, you're right. I just Googled it. It was Dan Siegel. So
Oh, well, there we go.
yeah.
Thanks, Charmaine.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Oh, we have another question. Can you explain more how a one-on-one works? Do you give a personalized hypnosis?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so what I would do with folks individually is to find out a little bit about your specific problem, the origin of it, how long it's been going on for, the disturbance it's causing you in your life, and to do a constructed hypnosis induction based on what the issue might be. So the issue might be, I mean, I just should have said this earlier, help people with all sorts of things. It might be nail biting or weight loss or body image or trauma, grief and loss. Lots hypnosis is really good for for um, for so many things. And sorry, I got distracted by the chat. What was I saying now? I got distracted.
That's okay. It happens to you too.
It happens to me. I had an unmindful moment. Oh yeah. So how does it work individually? Yes. So it works with working with your specific issue. Whatever your specific issue is, then we can focus on that and come up with suggestions that would work for you individually. Because there might be you might like, for example, the way we constructed the hypnosis induction today, and I used words you gave me. You might be like, oh, I really like to what do I like to do? Well, the example with the cat, right? So I feel my cat, here's an example for should I sleep with your cat or not? When you feel your cat beside you, it functions to help deepen your sleep. So even if your cat is moving around at night, it helps you rest more deeply. How's that? There's an example of related to your sleeping in cat, but we can work with any issue that you're struggling with.
Do you make a tape or a recording? I guess tapes are old for your clients, or do you get them to self-hypnotize?
Yeah. No, I make a recording so that
Okay.
when we have a session, that people leave with a recording that they can use.
Okay. And what about meditation at bedtime for sleep?
I think meditation is great for sleep. Anything that helps to settle you. There's meditation. There's also yoga nidra. There's many sleep hypnosis also out there, and one of these days I'll make some more. Um, yeah, anything like this that helps settle us before bedtime is great.
Okay. What about like a series of yoga postures? Do you have any suggestions for yoga
Yeah,
postures?
sure. So just you want to check with your doctor if you have high blood pressure or any other health conditions. Um, but you want to have your leg. One thing you could do is that can help with relaxation is to put your legs lie on the ground and have your legs up a wall. So having the legs slightly elevated can help with relaxation. Or sometimes you can even lie on your bed. I don't know if you have like a towel you can roll up under your knees. That can also just help with induce a state of relaxation. Sometimes people like to put heavy things on their body, like weighted sandbags or a heavy blanket that can help with the nervous system and relaxation. There also is some other practices um, that you can use, just like I want to say like a reclined, it's called a reclined butterfly. So you're like lying on your back, there's a bolster underneath you, and your legs are in a diamond shape with your body relaxed. So sometimes in yin yoga in particular, some of the postures are held a little longer, or myofascial yoga is another form of yoga where we're doing micro movements, really small movements that can also help regulate the nervous system and bring you into more ease, more relaxation. So those are some ideas.
Okay. Do you have any comments on menopause and sleep?
I think with that topic, it'll be good to get to speak with your doctor or get a naturopathic consult or a natural health practitioner consult related to hormones and sleep, because a lot of people commented about waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I think sometimes that can be hormonal.
Okay.
I know it is for me too sometimes. So I'm not pretending I got all the answers because I have some of the struggles too. But I think it's yeah, to seek out support from a practitioner to with those issues, I think could be really helpful.
Okay, I'm just thinking of questions, just to give everybody an opportunity to hear all of what you know. What about aging and sleep?
Oh gosh, aging and sleep. Hmm. Are you trying to stump me?
Do you have elderly parents?
Yes, and I know, unfortunately, yeah, I might invited my dad. He's not here. Um, yeah, sometimes for folks who are, as they become up in age, they have some health issues that just actually prevent them from sleeping, and
Can be
that
an
can just be
issue.
challenging.
Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge that. Yeah.
And you work with teens or
Yeah, I tend to
have worked
work.
with teens?
Yeah, I do tend to work with, I would just say probably more mature teens, people more like probably 16, 17 and up, not younger, not
Yeah.
younger, not younger, not younger teens at this time.
Yeah, there's some interesting information that teens maybe are meant to get going a little later in the day, and they can't because they have to go to school.
Right, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's also an idea that we should be sleeping a certain number of hours each night, and I think it varies so much for each person. So that's also maybe something to consider too.
The other thing I've read is about this idea that we're actually biologically it's quite normal to wake up in the middle of the night, and that in the medieval times people would use that for like a specific planned prayer session. I don't know if you've heard that. That the idea that as an adult you can just go to bed and sleep for 8 hours is actually a modern idea.
That's really interesting.
So perhaps if we accept that this waking up in the middle of the night is, you know, one of the very variable ways that human beings are.
Yeah.
I personally have that pattern, and because I have less demand on me at this stage of my life, I can just plan to be in bed longer and just use that time period to, you know, meditate or do something relaxing
Mhm.
and then go back to sleep.
Yeah, I think that's such a great idea. I mean, sometimes I'll read a boring book or a book, maybe not a boring one. I don't tend to read boring books, but I'll also read a book or do something. But I think your idea of meditation, something that's going to be relaxing at that time of night, because there can be such a tendency to go to a device and maybe turn that on as a distraction. So keeping devices, speaking of sleep hygiene, keeping your device out of your room, and just maybe setting a plan or an intention if you do wake up what you're going to do. So yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I'll definitely read everybody's comments when we end the class, because I really appreciate everyone saying hi and thanks, and it's really nice to see you, and I appreciate all of the comments, although haven't been able to read them all. So, but thank you everyone. And we've got 10 more minutes.
I'm just seeing if, did you put your contact information in the chat, Heather?
Yeah, I think I did. I'll put it in there
Maybe put
again.
it in again so that
Yeah.
if anyone didn't catch that, they can.
Yeah. This is a little form that you can fill out that just says, do you want my newsletter, the induction, would you like a session, or just to stay in touch about future offerings? So if you click that link, that should work for you. Any problems, I'm also going to put my email, because sometimes, copying things doesn't always work from here. info@heathergood.ca. Okay. Yeah, and I didn't say anything about, I did write the book around consciousness and conscious mindful leadership some years ago when I had some clients um, who were struggling with work situations. So it's about looking at your values and how you can integrate mindfulness into the workplace. So I also or into your life and looking at your values. So I also have that book on my website, which I'll put as well. You can access that, a PDF copy, or you can access a hard copy And I will actually either bring it to you or mail it to you because I had it on Amazon at one point, but I don't have it on Amazon anymore. I just have it to deliver. What do I think about CBD for sleep? I haven't used CBD myself, but I know lots of people have found it useful. I can't really say that I have any knowledge on that.
As far my knowledge of it is fairly superficial, but I understand that CBD is helpful for anxiety in some people, and so but it can actually wake you up a little bit more. So often, if there's a combination of anxiety and insomnia, you need to add some THC if you're going to use cannabis for sleep. So the THC is more sedating.
Yeah, and the hypnosis could be useful for anxiety to try and get to the root of what is at the root of the anxiety. That could be useful if that interests you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome, Doug. Thanks for being here.
How do you think people are doing integrating the is it post-pandemic, but we're at least recovering from the pandemic. How do you see people in your practice doing with that?
Hmm. How do I see people doing with that? Hmm. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of folks right now, that are struggling with grief and loss. Not necessarily pandemic related, but some of it might be. Um, Relationship issues, but those are probably a little bit more paramount as a result of the pandemic, and anxiety, for sure. So those are definitely some of the highlights of what I'm seeing more, um, with people I'm seeing individually. Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly affected different groups of people differently, depending
Mm-hmm.
on stage of that's what I saw in my practice. Stage of life, economic concerns were different for different people, and some of the divisiveness has affected people.
Yes.
How to recover from the divisions that came up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other thing is different people recover from the change in regulations differently. So I'm one of the few people who still wears a mask to the grocery store. But that's because I'm a doctor and I'm like, why not? Why not wear a mask? Whereas other people are so happy to get it off.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of different views on this. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it's caused a lot of stress for people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we have about 5 minutes left, and I thought maybe it would be a good time for you to give just a short summary of what you want people to take home with them.
Sure. Well, I hope everyone reaches out to either to me to we'll get the tech people with Wellness Through Mindfulness will take the induction out of the full recording. That's why we did a start and stop. So we should be able to piece out the induction. So please reach out to me, and as soon as I get that, I'm happy to send it to you. But it will also be on the Wellness Through Mindfulness website. So that would be my first kind of piece of advice, is to use that. I hope you use it and enjoy it and find it helpful to you. Using some of those breathing practices can also, I hope, will assist you with regulating your nervous system, feeling more ease, more peace, knowing the mind is a very powerful thing. So if we can use our mind to help bring about relaxation and reduce stress through the power of the mind, through the visualization, it is a passion of mine to help people connect to the wise parts of themselves, to our most resilient self, that sometimes, because in psychology, we look at things like with a negativity bias. We look at the negative in things, and we also look at what we're doing wrong or what's not working. And I like to help people to see and access their own wisdom and the wise part of themselves, so that we can see what it is we are doing that is working, and So I didn't comment on that at all during the presentation, but that is something that I think is a takeaway, because we all have had moments of relaxation and ease and joy and peace and elation, or whatever we might want to call it. So it's great to tap into those states, even in our imagination, to help cultivate those states of peace when we can. I think that's probably more than three. But so
Okay.
there you
Thank
go.
you. Thank you
Right.
very much, Heather. It's been wonderful. Given
Yeah,
us some
thank
really
you.
good ideas for helping with our sleep.
Yeah, thanks, Leslie.
Um,
Thanks for moderating, and thanks for your questions and the interaction. It was really enjoyable to have this workshop. And I'm also such a people person. I love to do things in person. So if people want to do anything in person, I'm really happy to have people. I'm not quite so worried, but no, that's not everybody's place. So I can have another group session or an in-person session. I've got something tentatively planned for Canmore for December. So yeah, please reach out and I'll let you know.
Okay, and I wanted to mention again that the next talk is November 3rd, and I'll be talking about mindfulness of spaciousness. And the other reminder is about your opportunity to donate to WTM through our homepage on the website. So we really appreciate your support. Thank you again, Heather, and
My
good
pleasure.
night.
Thanks everyone for being here. Peaceful blessings. Have a restful, deep sleep tonight. Thanks everyone for being here, for making the time out of your schedule to support wellness through mindfulness and to be here. It's been nice to see everyone. Okay, so we'll just say good night then.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, good night.